6:48 top stories. We began our Smart Start with breaking news just in. A woman and child taken to the hospital this morning after a rollover crash in the city.
This happened in the area of Norton Street and Hudson Avenue just before 3 this morning. Both have minor injuries, and we have officially been updated that the 42-year-old woman has been charged with aggravated DWI, as well as Leandra's Law, which makes driving drunk with a child in the car a felony. She also faces multiple other traffic offenses. We'll keep an eye on this case.
More of our top stories coming up in just a bit. Another big story we're following in the weather. The forecast here with Leanne had the snow falling overnight. Not a ton, but with the temps below freezing, just enough to cause some tricky spots.
Yeah, and the most important thing to remember is that we just had rain, so those roads are still wet, and now with those temperatures below freezing, it could cause some icy spots that we could see. But just remember to take your time, leave a little bit early, and just make sure you take your time, again, getting from point A to point B. But snow right now here in Rochester is momentarily stopped. As we look to our east and to our west, we do see that primarily along the Thruway as well. We are still seeing some snow showers, so just remember to take your time and leave maybe a little bit early and grab your jacket out, heading out the door. Back to you at the desk.
Yeah, great advice, Leanne. We were speaking of the snow earlier this morning. News 8's team, we sent them out trying to get a look at those conditions, trying to find those tricky spots, as Leanne mentioned. Well, we can see plenty of pavement here. In fact, many of the main thoroughfares are very well salted. However, those side streets likely to have a few more problems. Maybe those plows are just getting out here at 6:50, so take that extra time in the morning.
Sunrise traffic as we look at the map, see if anything else is going on. And there is an issue, an accident on the west side, 490 eastbound coming into downtown, just as you're about to get to the split with 390 coming in from Gates Chili High School, that area. If you're about to head off to 390 headed down towards the airport in Henrietta. We'll check your morning commute again at 7:25.
A former New York State trooper, Thomas Loki, will not go to prison. This comes after he pled guilty to tipping off a gambling ring that was in the midst of an investigation. Instead, he's been sentenced to 2 years probation and a $4,000 fine. He'll have to serve 100 hours of community service. Troopers say they were investigating a gambling ring in October of 2020 when Loki tipped off the man leading that ring and sports betting website Louis Ferrari. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, Ferrari used that tip to try and disrupt the investigation, tried changing his sports betting website. Didn't do much, though. He was still arrested, and dozens were at the sentencing, including friends and family of Loki, who quietly applauded when the judge delivered his sentence.
A woman is recovering after police tell her she was dragged behind her own car as it was stolen. This was around 8:30 yesterday morning on Monroe Avenue in Rochester. Officers say the 30-year-old victim left her car running as she went inside the McDonald's there, and it was in the parking lot. Shortly after, she saw someone trying to take her car, and she went out to try to stop them. She was caught and dragged a short distance before falling to the ground. She is expected to make a recovery. Brighton police are the ones who recovered the vehicle later on Hillside Avenue and arrested 29-year-old Omar Bulama. He's charged with assault, robbery, and grand larceny. At the end of the year, less than 2 weeks from now, Well Now will no longer accept coverage from Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance.
The urgent care holding an update yesterday saying that the provider still has time, the Excelis, to reconsider contract negotiations for the higher reimbursement rate Well Now is asking for. Those with Well Now claim the insurer refused what they describe as a fair rate and says that they have been consistently paying out less and less for urgent care services. Those with Well Now Urgent Care say that they help prevent primary care physicians and emergency rooms from becoming overwhelmed.
Our service truly is a go-between a primary care and an emergency department, and we have x-ray on site. We perform reduction of fractures. We take care of patients with sprains, lacerations, and those are things that are not done by primary care providers.
We are told the average Excelis patient will pay $165 in out-of-pocket costs versus an in-network copay if the agreement expires this January 1st. Well, Excelis responded for their part, saying in a statement, quote, "We continue to engage in discussions with Well Now regarding their contract. Well Now has asked for a rate increase that's significantly more than what local providers receive for similar services. Our concern is that when we pay higher fees, local employers and members can face higher insurance costs."
There is some renewed controversy surrounding a restaurant involved in the redesign of rest stops on the state Thruway. A lot of people are asking why Thruway officials would even consider picking Chick-fil-A when they knew the chain would be closed every single Sunday. That debate is up again in Albany at the state capitol. There's a new bill proposed that would eventually require the restaurant to open Thruway stops 7 days a week. Way off from now after its current contract of 33 years. Data shows Sundays is in fact one of the busiest travel days anywhere, especially on the Thruway. The Thruway Authority put out a statement to News 8 saying in part, Chick-fil-A's Sunday closure is a brand requirement and Applegreen, which runs the plazas, factor that into the plan. When the project is done, Chick-fil-A will operate in less than half the service areas, all of which have at least one other food concept and a convenience store open every single day. To be clear again, if this bill does pass, becomes law, it would only affect future authority contracts with companies, not current deals already in place. There are 7 Chick-fil-A's up and down 90.
A memorable day for 4 members of the Rochester Police Department as they were promoted to the rank of sergeant. This is the first step up in the ranks for officers who will now perform supervisory roles. Officials with the department say that the process to become a sergeant is a lengthy one and the effort they make does not go unnoticed.
The transition from officer to supervisor to sergeant is probably a bigger step than continuing on up, going from sergeant, lieutenant to captain. Because now, you know, as an officer, you're responsible for yourself, you're responsible for your partner. Now as a sergeant, you're responsible for 10 officers. It's a big change.
Chief Smith notes there are 9 recruits in field training and 15 that just started the academy. And he also adds he believes this shows how the department is going to be moving forward.
Let's take you inside the Buffalo huddle. The Bills defense, all those injuries didn't matter Sunday, able to hold off the Cowboys to just a field goal before garbage time in that win. The Bills have taken another blow on defense, though. Tackle Jordan Phillips has a wrist injury, got it on this play, making a sack. Had surgery immediately after the game. Phillips is now considered week to week. The team is already also without defensive tackle Daquan Jones, and now as a replacement, likely turning to Poona Ford. We'll see what happens with the defense. Bills on the road Saturday night in Los Angeles, taking on the Chargers.
The Rochester Red Wings are welcoming a brand new member of the team. Downright adorable, this hitter of the litter, Bat Dog Bruce. He's already working on his swing. See, oh, he dropped it there, trying his best. This is after the first Bat Dog, Milo, did unfortunately pass away, but Bruce is working hard on his training for the upcoming season.
That video probably 2 weeks ago today. When
we were wondering when was our last snow.
Yeah.
He'll probably be out there playing in all of it that we're getting today, right, Leanne?
Absolutely. I mean, the snow will at least stick around for today, but with the temperature trend heading into Christmas weekend and into Christmas, it's going to be above average, which has kind of been the story of the winter here, at least so far in Rochester. With our first official day of winter on Thursday, temperature is going to be in 37, which is around average for this time of year. But then we just start to see that subtle rise, and even on Christmas, I don't think Santa's going to have too much trouble trying to get into Rochester Christmas Eve into Christmas Day.
That is great to hear. Yes.
Yeah,
all the presents are arriving on time. Thank you, Leanne, and thank you for watching us here this Tuesday for News 8 at Sunrise. Our next update in 30 minutes.
And don't go anywhere. CBS Mornings is up next.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.